If you'd like to skip right to the projects, I put chapters down below. For the rest of you, welcome to my channel, Brennen's Budget Builds. As you might have noticed, I'm really bad at documenting my projects, so I decided to go back and collect whatever I do have on projects that I've done in the past. And I thought it would be a good idea to do a top 10 list. So to start with 2016, here's number 10. This was my least favorite project for 2016. Even so, it turned out to be very useful. For about $10, I found this umbrella and reflective material. It doesn't look great, but it still functioned, and I was able to effectively light a music video with it. For number 9, this was actually just a test project. Unfortunately, I don't have a before picture. I wanted to use the copper top on a future project, but I didn't know how it was going to look or fit. There was burn marks on the top of this nightstand, so I figured I would go ahead and cover it up and see how the material worked. I ended up using a metallic spray paint on the handle as well, which didn't turn out great. It was some good insight to not use that paint in the future. Number 8 was my first attempt at reupholstering. I had liked the look of the chair, but it was in really bad condition. It had a lot of burn marks and slash marks, and because of the fake leather, it was almost impossible to clean. So I went to Joann's to try and pick out some furniture fabric. At the time, I really liked these textures and colors. There was a lot of things that I learned, including that piping is very difficult. That little border tubing that goes around the edge of the armrest was extremely difficult to try and replace. This was the finished product. As you can see, the piping around the edges didn't turn out great. From a distance, if you kind of squint, it doesn't look too bad. This chair ended up getting donated pretty quickly. For project number 7, there's no true before picture. Here on the ground was the fabric that was on the chair before. I was really happy with the way this one turned out, and I used it as a desk chair for a couple years. Project number 6 was cleaning up a pair of thrift store shoes. I really liked the look of these shoes, so I took them to the local shoe shop and they made them look amazing. From that point on, I started shining my own shoes. It seems like a pretty simple project, but it really has saved me a lot of money down the road. For project number 5, I only have this quick video of the before. I ended up re-epoxying the top of this kitchen table. It's a very difficult process of evenly sanding and then trying to epoxy evenly across the surface. Due to the heat of where I was living, the end result had a little bit of uneven epoxy, but it still looked a ton better than it did before. There's no before picture for project 4 either. For this desk, I learned what shellac was. It comes in aerosol form and can be used to make this shiny finish. For project 3, I cleaned up a typewriter and had help changing the color of the typewriter stand. I was really happy with the way this turned out. This typewriter and stand ended up being on display for many years in my house. I got some ink ribbons installed, and it was fun to have guests type a few lines whenever they visited. By the time I got rid of the typewriter, there was a whole page that looked something like an ad-lib, with friends answering other friends line by line as the years went on. Project number 2. I found this Monacor radio in excellent condition. It was only missing a couple of tubes. After cleaning it up, installing the tubes, and using my knowledge of shellac, I got this radio looking fantastic. It turned right on and sounded amazing. I was really happy with the way it ended up looking. This was my favorite project for 2016. Here is the before. It was an old German radio and record console. Turning it on for the first time, I was very excited and had to share it on Snapchat. What I learned here helped me a lot with my 2017 projects, which you'll see in the next video. The hardware needed updating, so in the back I mounted a 6-inch subwoofer, installed a Bluetooth connection device, and I customized the front grille with some EL wire. I lucked out and found grill cloth that was pretty similar at the fabric store. Here it is with everything finished. There were some structural issues with it bowing in the middle and the veneer on the top was damaged. To fix this, I inserted a brace in the middle, and I used the copper plate to cover up the veneer damage. I couldn't have been more happy with the way this one turned out. My hope is to make a countdown list for each year starting with 2016 and going all the way up until this year, 2021. So please keep an eye out for future videos.